Imagine waking up one ordinary day and stumbling across something extraordinary, something so magical it could change your life forever. That's exactly what happened to Sophie, a curious, adventurous little girl who loved nothing more than exploring the world around her. It all started in the corner of an old shop Sophie had never noticed before. The shop seemed to appear out of nowhere, nestled between the local library and a coffee shop her parents liked to visit. Its wooden sign was barely readable, covered in faded gold lettering, but Sophie could just make out the words, Mr. Mallow's Magical Confectionery. The storefront glimmered with a rainbow of colors, as if it were alive. Unable to resist, Sophie pushed open the heavy door and stepped inside. The interior was a kaleidoscope of sweets. Lollipops sparkled like gemstones, jars of gummy bears swirled as if they were underwater, and chocolate fountains hummed a soft tune. But near the counter, something caught Sophie's eye. An unremarkable glass jar filled with small, brightly colored candy balls. A handwritten note on the jar said, "The Extraordinary, 1 per person, handle with care." Sophie's curiosity burned brighter than ever. The kindly shopkeeper, Mr. Mallow himself, a man with twinkling eyes and a smile like he knew a secret, watched her closely as she reached for the jar. "Be careful with those," he said gently. "They're not like the others. Whatever you dream, these candies will bring to life. But remember, great power requires great responsibility." Of course, Sophie had no idea what that meant, but she nodded politely anyway, choosing one shiny green candy from the jar. The moment she popped it into her mouth, the entire room seemed to shift. Suddenly, Sophie felt lighter, weightless even. Looking down, she realized her feet were no longer touching the ground. She was flying! At first, it was exhilarating, gliding through her neighborhood, soaring above treetops, and twirling like a bird in the vast open sky. Sophie felt unstoppable, but more importantly, she felt powerful, like she could do anything she wanted. As soon as she got home, her mind raced with ideas about all the ways she could use the magical candy. The chaos reached its peak when Sophie tried using several candies at once. She wanted to see what would happen if she was invisible, super strong, and flying all at the same time. For a brief moment, everything felt incredible, like she could do anything in the entire world. But soon, her powers spiraled out of control. She became clumsy, flying too high until she couldn't figure out how to land. Her invisibility faded one part of her at a time, leaving a bizarre patchwork behind. And worst of all, her strength shattered her mom's favorite vase when she tried holding onto something to steady herself. Frightened by her misuse of powers, Sophie rushed back to Mr. Mallow's shop for fun and adventure. The jar Mr. Mallow had given her was full of different flavors, each granting a unique superpower. The blueberry candy turned her strong enough to lift her dad's car like it was a feather. The fiery red one gave her the ability to run so fast it seemed like the world was standing still. And the lemon yellow candy made her invisible, perfect for sneaking cookies before dinner. Sophie quickly realized there were endless possibilities. But somewhere along the way, Sophie stopped listening to Mr. Mallow's warning. Instead of using her powers for good or thinking about the consequences, she started snapping up the candies every chance she got. "Think of all the fun I can have," she thought gleefully. Flying meant she never had to wait for the traffic light to cross the street. Super strength allowed her to climb the monkey bars in ridiculous ways. And invisibility? Well, let's just say her older brother suffered more than a few ghost pranks over the next few days. Yet, as much fun as it was, Sophie didn't realize her actions were leaving waves of chaos behind her. One day, her super speed knocked over a shopkeeper's entire display of flower pots, leaving a trail of broken ceramics she didn't bother fixing. On another occasion, her invisibility caused sheer panic at school when the teacher thought Sophie had gone missing altogether. There were small moments, too. Losing her temper while super strong, accidentally smashing objects in her home, or misusing her flight to scare the neighborhood birds out of their nests. The chaos reached its peak when Sophie tried using several candies at once. She wanted to see what would happen if she was invisible, super strong, and flying all at the same time. For a brief moment, everything felt incredible, like she could do anything in the entire world. But soon, her powers spiraled out of control. She became clumsy, flying too high until she couldn't figure out how to land. Her invisibility faded one part of her at a time, leaving a bizarre patchwork behind. And worst of all, her strength shattered her mom's favorite vase when she tried holding on to something to steady herself. Frightened by her misuse of powers, Sophie rushed back to Mr. Mallow's shop. She expected anger or disappointment, but instead he offered her wisdom. "You're learning," he said softly. "Magic is like candy. It's sweetest when shared, used with care, and never overindulged. A little wonder can brighten the world, but too much chaos can dim even the brightest light." With his help, Sophie learned how to balance fun and responsibility. She apologized to the shopkeeper, her neighbors, and her family for everything she had disrupted. Now, when Sophie uses the candies, it's to help a friend reach something high, or to brighten someone's day with a quick flight around the park. She even shares some with her brother, though invisibility might not be his first choice. In the end, Sophie discovered what Mr. Mallow had meant all along. Magical candy can grant superpowers, but the true magic lies in choosing how those powers are used. And every now and then, she still stops by the shop, not just for the candies, but for the wonderful lessons hidden inside.